Hi, everyone, and welcome to Just a Multilingual Minute. Today, we will be looking at a grading practice that is commonly used in the United States, but that some students, especially international students or our newly arrived learners, may not be familiar with, and that is drop grades. A drop grade, for those of you who may not know, is an assignment score that we intentionally exclude from the student's final grade calculation. The student may have completed the task and received feedback, but that score won't factor into their final average. Why would we use drop grades? Well, that's a really good question. One of the reasons that we might consider using drop grades is because it provides some flexibility for our diverse learners. Language students are juggling so much. They have their classwork. Often they also have jobs, cultural adjustments, family responsibilities, and sometimes also on top of that, the emotional load of learning a new language. Drop grades give students the grace to have an off week without it penalizing them. Another reason for drop grades is to reduce anxiety around their performance. Language learning can be a really stressful event. Students may shut down if one bad score feels like a catastrophe that they can't bounce back from. Dropping the lowest grade helps to keep the focus on growth mentality instead of perfection. Another reason for using drop grades is that they support equity and inclusion. Students come to our classrooms with different educational backgrounds, varying levels of proficiency, and different levels of familiarity with the US education system. Drop grades can help level the playing field and reduce stress for students who are still adjusting. And finally, drop grades encourage consistent engagement. By keeping all of the assignments visible while still dropping the lowest scores, we provide structure and accountability. We also recognize that progress isn't always linear. So, want to know how this actually looks in practice? Here's an example. If your course has some weekly assignments, you might choose to drop the lowest one or two of these weekly assignments. Students are still going to get practice, feedback, routine, but only their stronger performances are going to shape their final grade. Are there any downsides to this practice? Well, for many students, especially international students or those new to the US grading system, the idea of a grade being dropped can feel alarming at first. In many educational contexts around the world, every assignment grade is permanent and calculated into the final score, with no exceptions. So, when students see a grade that appears to be excluded, it could trigger some negative reactions. They might worry that the assignment didn't count, fearing that their work was invalidated or that the teacher somehow rejected their effort. They may be confused about the purpose of drop grades. If they've always experienced strict cumulative grading, the idea of intentionally removing a grade feels odd or even suspicious, like the teacher might be tricking them. There may also be some concern, especially in online classes, that something strange is going on with the LMS. When the total grade doesn't align with the number of visible assignments, the students may panic and assume that they've somehow done something wrong. There can also be anxiety rooted in educational norms. In some countries, a single low grade can significantly affect final standing or opportunities. Students who grew up in these systems may carry that pressure with them, making the concept of a drop grade feel counterintuitive and risky. As language teachers, we know our learners come with diverse educational backgrounds and expectations. They also have very different prior experiences in educational settings. What feels like a supportive policy to us may feel unsettling to students who've never encountered it. Hopefully, this short video has helped to raise your awareness of what drop grades are, how they're used, and the logic behind them, and issues that might cause some stress for students who aren't familiar with the practice. Hopefully, by taking some time to explain these practices to your students, you'll be able to help to demystify the practice and make the students feel more comfortable and supported in your class. Thanks for giving me just a multilingual minute, and I'll see you next time.